Players.
Players own.
Players own.
Players own voice.
Players own
Voice.
It's Players Own Voice, a podcast from CBC Sports. For all of his accomplishments on the speed skating oval, Gilmore Junio won the lasting admiration of Canadians in 2014 when he gave his friend and teammate Denny Morrison an opportunity to medal in Sochi. Gil and I are both speed skaters, teammates forever, and we happen to know that that's just how we roll on Team Canada. But there's no telling that to a nation hungry for sports heroes. If you ask me, it's his dance moves that actually should be celebrated, so let's sashay over to that Gil Junio conversation now. My name is Anastasia Busas, two-time Olympian, no medals, few friends, joined by one of my longtime teammates, good buddy, two-time Olympian, multi-World Cup medalist, multi-World Cup gold medalist, one of the best skaters to come out of Canada, Gilmore Junio.
Thanks for having me.
I thought you were going to clap for something, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm very happy to be back in Calgary. We're having a little bit of a reunion with all the buds.
I'm stoked that you're doing this. This is like really cool.
Well,
you have all the equipment set up. You're like more tech savvy than I am in this space right now.
I just got rid of my Hotmail email too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm like in
skater chick.
Yeah, no.
Skater
boy.
Chick. Yeah.
Where are you training right now? Tell me what's up.
So right now I'm training again with the national team here in Calgary. Obviously last year I think was a bit of a change when I moved to Norway, but just with the decompression of coming off the Olympic season and just wanting to spend a little more time at home, just training here, kind of love being back in Calgary. And it's kind of crazy. You kind of miss the weather here. It's, always sunny and you got the mountains super close, and it was a little more rain than I was used to when I was living in Norway. But it was, a beautiful country, but I'm definitely glad to be back in Calgary.
So we are obviously like a few months out of the Olympics, but I want to ask, what prompted you to move to Norway?
I think for myself, I just wanted to just get a bit of a change. I'd been training in Calgary and with the national team for, 7 years, and trained at the Oval since I was 13. And I kind of just wanted to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I think I was, I'm really comfortable here in Calgary. So I just wanted to kind of see what was out there and explore some options with, a Canadian legend and a good friend of mine, Jeremy Witherspoon. So he was coaching out there, and I thought it was just a really good fit. The Norwegians, there are a lot of good skaters there. Obviously, one of them won the gold medal in the 500 meters. But I just wanted to challenge myself in a new way, kind of explore not only developing myself as an athlete, but as a person as well. I never lived out by myself or really lived outside of Calgary. So that was kind of one of those things, just kind of wanted to grow a bit more.
But to make that, it was a big change. That close to the Olympics, right? It was like 8 months out? 10 months out?
Yeah, about 10 months out.
So that must have been scary.
Yeah, for sure. I think there was a lot of risk. I went back and forth. I think the World Sprints were here. When World Sprints were here in like February, that's when I first talked to Jeremy about the potential of moving to Norway. And then from February until pretty much April, I was like back and forth a lot on whether or not. It was like a long 2 months of just like really deliberating on what I wanted to do. I knew what I could accomplish, like if I stayed in Calgary, but there was the excitement of what I could accomplish outside of Calgary and like really pushing myself. So yeah, it was a bit scary, but had a lot of support from like my sister here and just like friends and family, like especially my mom and dad. They're like school first and foremost. Yeah. So that was like really refreshing when I told my dad that I was gonna think about going to Norway. He's like, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and make sure if you go there that you're putting 100% into it. Yeah. So.
Speed skating, and it's easy for us to talk shop. Obviously, we were teammates for years and years. Speed skating is a unique sport in the sense that it's an individual sport that is so incredibly difficult that you're reliant on teammates and you're reliant on that team. How did you think your teammates would respond?
The ones in Canada or North?
Mm-hmm,
yeah, I mean, I think the ones that know me like really well, I think knew I was doing it for the right reasons and not just trying to, pretty much abandon the team in a sense. But, it's definitely a little scary when you kind of leave, your friends behind and how they're going to perceive it. But, I went to Denny Morrison's wedding the day before I flew to Norway. Mm-hmm. And he gave me like one a little groomsman gift, and the card in it. It was a really touching moment because he's one of my best friends, and he's like, "You're gonna prove the whole world, that you're a great guy and you're a great speed skater, not only here in Canada but overseas in Norway." So that was really special, and to have support like that from people that I care about and that I respect on the team, kind of made it easier when I came back. To the team for World Cups and the Olympics and stuff like that. Obviously there's some people that probably didn't like the move or, took it the wrong way. But I know I did it for the right reasons, and I hope they kind of can get past it.
If they can't get past it, I don't think that they're true teammates.
Yeah.
Also, let's back up. Denny Morrison's wedding, pretty good dance party, lots of pit bulls.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think, we had a massage therapist, an osteopath that loves the pit bull. So we just kept feeding it to him.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was a big dance party. And that was a good way to kind of go out to Norway, although it was a long drive back to Calgary the next morning.
Why, bud?
No, because I couldn't indulge in a lot of the beverages going around, but it was an awesome time. It was a lot of good energy, and it was like I think just that whole I just passed out on the plane, to be completely honest. Mm-hmm. That was like maybe the best lead up into a long plane ride to Norway, just being able to pass out. I got a whole row to myself, and it was like,
oh, lucky.
It was lucky me. I was in first class in economy.
Air Canada status. Yeah. Fast forwarding, let's say 8 months to Pyeongchang. What is the first emotion that comes to mind when you think Pyeongchang?
Little bit of disappointment, but a lot of peace. I didn't get the result I wanted, but at the same time, I know the depth in the 500 meter, and a 10th here, a 10th there, 100th here, 100th there could bring you where I finished in 17th to top 10, and that would have been awesome. But to be on the podium wasn't unrealistic as well. So there's a little bit of disappointment in that. But like thinking about my race, I think I did everything that I could have done. Little mistakes here and there, but it's sport; you can't take them back. Mm-hmm. But I think. At the same time, I went to the Olympics twice and was able to represent my country, and a lot of fun. I had a great time with everyone there. It's kind of different going to the Olympics twice. The first one, you're kind of young, you don't know a lot of people. You're really excited to just be there for yourself. But the second time, it's a lot more interactive because you know more people and you're able to have a little more fun with the other athletes. And my family came to both Olympics, and so for myself, there's a lot of peace in knowing that, although I didn't get the result I wanted, I was able to just enjoy the Olympics for what they were with people that I really care about. And I gave all I could to that process and getting to the Olympics and competing for Canada.
Knowing that you were in completely different spaces, mind, body, spirit, Sochi versus Pyeongchang, what games are you more satisfied with?
Oh, I think it's so hard because Sochi was such a high with the whole thing with Denny and I. I'd probably say, like, performance-wise, for sure, Sochi. I was, top 10 and was able to contribute to an awesome medal moment. But it's really hard to say. I think Pyeongchang, I was really happy with the process to get to that line. That's maybe one of the most satisfying things, that I was able to go to Norway, do the whole, kind of lone wolf, find a new team, find a new pack, and, create a lot of great relationships in the process and find a lot about myself in the process. And to get to that line and be there that day was a highly satisfying thing. But, Sochi was a lot of fun too with Denny and stuff. But I don't know. That's a really hard thing to say. They have both equal meaning to me in very different ways, I would say.
What did you find out about yourself through that journey in Norway?
I think that the biggest thing I found out is like I can do more and things that I, in expertises that I don't know. I can learn new things. I'm not just like a speed skater in a way. Like I had to do my own taxes. I had to manage my expenses. I had to book my flights, book hotels, book transportation, and I learned a lot about. I'm not just this drone of an athlete that's told what to do and just go do it. Being able to have the self-discipline to do the programs by myself here in Calgary before I went to Norway. Motivate myself every morning to get up and do it for the right reasons, and then taking on a couple more roles that I took for granted. I learned a lot, just a lot of growth on like a more mature scale than just being an athlete.
You touched on it, Sochi's story. It's one of you must be sick about talking about it, but let's be honest, it's one of the greatest Olympic stories to come out of Canada. But how do you view it? Like, are you must be grateful. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but how do you view that now?
I think it's for myself now. I'm just stoked that obviously Denny's like still one of my best friends, and he was one of my best friends leading into the games, the Sochi games, and so it's just a moment between us. It's just something that happened. It was an amazing story. I think we've both kind of not moved past it, but like we just acknowledge it as something in the past, and it's like we don't like to revel with it. And when people bring it up, it's cool. Like I think it's awesome to really just chat about it and be like, oh, that was a great time. Maybe you didn't know about this. These are little stories that contribute to the whole experience. But it's definitely not something I think about every day, or although it's cool coming home and being recognized as quote unquote people say. It's like, oh, you're the Olympian. I'm like, well, I'm one of many. Yeah. But that was a really cool time, and there brought a lot of experiences that I don't think I would have been able to enjoy had that not happened. So it's kind of polarizing.
Just a quick reminder, Gilmore, obviously, in 2014, he gave up his spot in the 1,000-meter to our teammate Denny Morrison, and Denny went on to win a silver medal. That's the story that we're kind of recapping here. Do you look back on that moment, and you say you look back on it fondly, but are there moments when you go, God, that wasn't really a sacrifice, I just did the right thing?
No, absolutely, and I think that's something that maybe why people like really viewed it in like a crazy manner, because it's like, oh, this crazy sacrifice, but it was really, I think, how our team was, what the culture in our team was. We would do anything to, accomplish our goals as a team, and doing it the right way, and putting our team first. I think that's just who we were, like who we are as people, as people on that team. I think Canadians are really nice, but I think, our team was very special for those 4 years. We had a really great dynamic between everyone on the team, and, I think it's like, so people maybe think of it as like a massive sacrifice, but it was just really just the right thing to do as for the team and for the country and for what we want to accomplish. So and I think that's something that was within our entire team. So.
What is success to you?
Ooh. Being able to live my life with no regret, I think, or having like a clarity in a moment. Like I think 20 years from now, if I'm like standing there and being able to have that clarity of like I can do what I want, I'm with the people I love, and I'm able just to be who I am, with no limitations. I think that's like success for me.
You were disappointed with the external result in Pyeongchang, but did you feel successful in Pyeongchang? With no regrets? Yeah,
highly, for sure. I think it would have been really easy for me to be like, oh, I shouldn't have gone to Norway. I finished 17th. I should have just stayed in Canada. I would have saved a ton more money and whatnot. Beers are expensive.
Oh my God. I remember I ordered a quarter of a beer and it cost me $250.
Yeah, it was insane. It's actually insane. I think I was being able to cross the line, and I smiled right away because I just got beat I didn't skate bad. I don't think. I just, I wasn't as fast. I got beat by better skaters that day. And, being able to just get to that line and, was a success. Being able to be there with my family was a success. Being able to enjoy the moment with teammates that won gold medals and silver medals and bronze medals that was a success. So I don't have any regrets about the road to Pyeongchang. I think back right now to April leading in before I left for Norway, and we're at my sister's place, but I was doing workouts in this park. And being able to, wake up at 8 a.m., say, okay, no one's going to be at training with you today. You have to do it yourself. And I went in that field and trained for 3 hours by myself with a speaker and a phone as my coach. And I'm like, I think back on it, I'm like, Gil, like that's awesome, man. Like that's something I'm really proud of. And yeah, so no regrets on that. So Pyeongchang, success in a totally different way.
Did you feel successful even before the gun went off?
I mean, I was pretty nervous. But yeah, I think it was amazing just warming up. Like I warmed up on the infield. So yeah, people can look and watch. And I think I did feel successful before the line because I saw in the stands, like, my face. People had, like, my family had made the faces, the big enlarged face.
Yeah.
And then one of my sponsors yelled out my name. I had a buddy come from Australia, and he was there, and just to be around like my teammates. It was nerve-wracking before you go for the Olympics, but just thinking about it now, I think I did feel highly successful going to that line. And thank you for reminding me, because that's something that I probably wouldn't have thought about had I not, had you not asked me.
I went to the bathroom 8 times before Sochi, just so we know. That's how nervous you are?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Like, it's really weird though, because that's not a normal thing for you, obviously. But it's like the Olympics in the moment and the excitement make you do things and make you change things that you
never change. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. And like thinking about it, like I don't even know why I was listening to the playlist I listened to. Like it's so weird. Like I had music that I was like pretty amped and pretty liked, but I just turned it on like a random Spotify playlist that I like dug in the depths of the app. And I'm like, just started listening to it, and I'm like, this is not what I normally do. And just little things, like little like warm up things too. Is like, okay, I'm gonna actually do like this like goalie stretch. I never do it on a regular basis, but let's give it a shot on the day of the Olympics. Let's drink 18 liters of water because
or Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly.
Goalie stretch, bud. You know what? Ben Hebert, he plays obviously on your beer league hockey team, and he says you have the filthiest mitts out of every Olympian.
He is really good. Benny is his shot, but he is a talker, man.
Oh, he was chirping me. I was like, whose podcast is this? It's mine.
It was one of the best. A couple of games ago, he went a no-doubter, top shelf. Like, it was the fastest shot. I think it went bar down, too. And as he's we're all celebrating around him, and as he's, like, making his way back to the bench, he's like, did that go in? Saying it super loud as the other team's going by. He's like, did that go in? You guys see if that one went in? Okay, dude, we are crushing this team. Let's tone it down.
It's 14-0.
Yeah, but yeah, he's very kind. But yeah, I played hockey when I was a kid, so I got a little more experience than some of the others. But I'm not even leading the team in scoring right now, so I got to pick up my game.
Who is it?
It's another friend of one of the losers, but Brady's scoring, which is Trevor White scoring. Gosh, he got a hat trick this year too.
Wow.
Jesse Lumsden is a tip monster, although he doesn't get credit. He's probably hasn't been credited for 3 goals he's tipped in.
Does Jesse wear Cooperalls or what?
No, but he should.
He should.
He's a monster. The guy has an engine like nobody I've ever seen. Like I'm hurting on the bench. I'm like, okay, like I have to pace myself now. But he's just going full tilt all the time. Mm-hmm. I think that's his like a football background coming in, being that running back. But he's a monster. We actually got chirped for skating too hard. He's like, you guys skate like way to try. I'm like, it was weird. it's beer league hockey, but again, I think we're really competitive. So we just go kind of as hard as we can, but we have a lot of restraint as well. But yeah, this guy was chirping. He's like, yeah, way to back check. I'm like, what do you, that's not something, that's the worst chirp. Ben has good chirps. This guy, he needed some work.
It's funny though, this conversation has surrounded the role of teammates and teams, and you kind of just summed it up. It's like, Ben Hebert's a curler. Jesse Lumsden was a football player turned bobsledder. Brady Lehman is a ski cross athlete. Mm-hmm. We're all from different sports. You trained in a different country, but sport kind of unites just good people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's for sure. And I think that's something that I've really taken. People are going to say, oh, what do you take from the Olympics? I think it's like the Olympic family.
Yeah.
It is incredible how much sports bonded the people that I really associate with and kind of are on the same wavelength.
When you look back, though, what will you remember most?
I think the moment that I will remember the most and most vividly to come to mind, one from Sochi, is seeing my sister after the opening ceremonies. I left the opening ceremonies early, and she didn't know that. But I left and went to the Canada House, and she was there with everyone, and I snuck up on her and said hi, and then she started crying. And we were able to go to a room and watch the rest of the ceremonies, and then we saw the fireworks, and we're just standing there. I'm all kitted out. And that was a super special moment because that was obviously my first Olympics, and for my sister, she's the one that's kept me alive the most. That was a special moment. And I think just singing karaoke in Pyeongchang, that's a moment. That's the night that the men won their bronze medal in the hockey. And yeah, so that night was awesome. Just being able to sing karaoke and Mr. Brightside and Kiss from a Rose. Those were my songs.
Classic.
And the people belting it out was the best.
A lot of karaoke.
I lost my voice. I didn't have a voice for about 2 weeks after.
I didn't either.
I couldn't woo or I couldn't woo or cheer or do anything more. It was just air, just dry air that was coming. Yeah. But yeah.
What's next?
Good question. Kara Button would probably like to make a plug for Game Plan right now.
I'm having a glass of wine with Kara Button. That's my plan.
I'm just training and trying to at least give back to the sport and really be around for mentor some of the young guys like I was mentored when I was entering the team. And I don't know exactly what my future holds, but I think just trying to find that clarity right now is on the top of the list. But just enjoying being back home, just enjoying my family and friends again, and not having the pressure of the Olympics looming.
I know you, Bud, and the values that you have learned and brought through sport will carry you in any endeavor you do. You have a ton of talent and interests, and you're very artistic. Maybe you know what, Ben Hebert actually was like, I'm gonna host this podcast with you when I'm done, so we could use a third. It's gonna be Gilly, Benny, and Busey. All right?
Love it. Let's go. I'll be the tech guy. I can be the guy behind the scenes that help you guys out.
You're already hired.
Yes, perfect. That's what's next.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me, Gilmore. Gilmore Junio, full-time beauty, some of the best dance moves I think you could ever see, not on the Canadian Olympic team, but of all Olympians of all time. You are a solid Bruno Mars 2.0.
I beat Tessa Virtue at a dance battle.
Oh, she doesn't even hold a candle.
You know what?
Candle in the wind to you, buddy. Gilmore Junio.
Thank you for having me.
Peace. I chatted with karaoke star and ideal Olympian Gilmore Junio at his house in Calgary, Alberta. Players Own Voice podcast is a CBC Sports production. Please email your comments to us, playersownvoicepodcast@cbc.ca. Social media, #PlayersOwnVoice. I am Anastasia on Twitter and Instagram. David Giddens is the producer for this project. Thanks for listening.